We're going to move swiftly on. We're trying to keep as best we can to time. So thank you for finishing up there, and I'm looking forward to hearing the AviaDev streams later. I'd like to introduce James Stuart to the stage. James has an amazing track record for building hotel brands, and in January, on the eve of the opening, showed me the wonderful Stately House in Nairobi. Unfortunately, that was one particular hotel that had to close its doors almost immediately on opening. But we'll be talking with CS Balala, the Minister of Tourism. It'll be very interesting, obviously, to hear his thoughts, having seen that conversation about the role of government, what they can actually be doing to support the industry. So thank you, James, and welcome, Minister Balala.
Waziri, greetings to the newly bearded and, may I say, rather sartorial Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife of Kenya. Welcome.
Thank you very much, James. This is a new post-COVID image, so...
Well, you got a long way to go to catch me up, though. But I think yours looks a bit smarter than mine.
We're all stressed enough, but we need still to keep the image, at least the bow tie is there.
It's giving Kenya a very nice brand image. We've got 20 minutes, so let's jump straight in. Lots of people who are on this call are not from Kenya, so I thought it would make sense just to hear from you about how Kenya is faring, an overview of its response to COVID-19, and the general mood of the country as we move forward, hopefully, coming out of the back end of this virus.
Well, the mood is low, and because the effects is huge. It's unprecedented. Nobody expected this. In fact, in the couple of months when this pandemic started, there was full of confusion. Everybody thought it's just a few months and we are going to just finish and go back to normal. Then we tried to prepare for the new normal. But then we realized we can't go to the new normal until we have the vaccine. The vaccine is how do we live with COVID-19. So these are the times now we have developed protocols, and we said, how do we survive now? Everybody realizes that international tourism will not start immediately. It will take a long time. And until a vaccine, and then people feel comfortable, the fear is out, and then they have the financial resources to travel. Because long-haul destinations will be expensive, or they are expensive, and it will take time to recover the long-haul destination. But yes, now we are ready. Now we can say we are ready for living within the COVID-19, and then also we are ready for post-COVID-19. So we have done our part as Kenya. We were first developing the stimulus packages so that the government can be sensitive to see how do they come in to save the industry and to salvage the industry, but not only the industry, but the whole economy. The President Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of Kenya, gave up almost $180 million in terms of tax relief to the whole country. Reduced VAT from 16% to 14%, reduced income personal tax from 30% and corporate tax from 30% to 25%. For SMEs, the turnover tax of 3%, 1%, and then also creating the threshold, the minimum threshold of almost $200 to be not taxable. So this is just to give hope and to let people have resources so that they can be able to spend. But then as the pandemic continues, now is the 4th month, life is more difficult. Our investment is mainly on health. That is priority as government. And then also we came up with another almost $500 million worth of incentive and stimulus package for the whole economy. So tourism got $30 million for the refurbishment fund for old hotels to be refurbished. Another $20 million came into the wildlife conservation programs, and then another $20 million for SMEs. So these are packages that were given in. Despite our economy is small, we are not a rich nation, but at least we are tried. So our strategy is very clear, that we know we cannot start tourism immediately. So let's put health as important. So we shut down the country for almost 3 months. Now, 1st of August, our international airspace is going to open, and we will invite international tourism. 2 weeks ago, we opened our local airspace to allow local traveling going on. So now we have the wildlife migration, the wilderness migration in Masai Mara, which is historic. It takes 3 months. Nobody wants to miss it. And it's spectacular when you can see Kenyans have become tourists, because it's not just about wanting to be a tourist, but how does Kenyan come to the front line and say, I will be the first person to help my brother or my sister to go back to work, giving businesses to the tourism sector. So that is the spirit that Kenyans are doing.
Okay, I want to come back to a comment you made about living within COVID-19. Different countries have different approaches or different interpretations of what that means. New Zealand, for example, has been extremely clear and in terms of putting health, I think, before economy in some respects. Certain states in America are now finding out that the release of restrictions is coming back to bite them. Where does Kenya sit in terms of in this balance between keeping the economy going but ensuring that people are healthy?
Well, our first priority is health, definitely. The health and loss of lives are important, but also we are cognizant of livelihoods. So we have now gradually opened the economy. So 3 months we shut down the economy, or they shut down the country, but allowed a bit of some, particularly food transportation, food and the essential requirements for the people to go on. And then we started opening the businesses slowly. Apart from tourism that has not opened at all, because tourism is about mingling with people. So till now, large crowds, including our places of worships, have not been opened. Yeah, it's the one that has been conditional is with minimum or maximum requirements or protocols, which in terms of the Islamic community, that it was not practical, and they have not opened the mosques yet. The churches, very few of them have opened their places of worships, but it is tough. But the most important thing is health. Lives are more important than the economy. But also we are cognizant that we need to create the jobs. We need people to go out, because the effect is not just about lives and livelihoods. The effect is about the mental health that is going to affect in terms of long term. And that's why we are taking these gradual actions as a government.
Okay. I want to come to the collaboration between the government and the private sector. Obviously, you both have a role to play. What initiatives have been developed, and how are they progressing? And is there a healthy integration between the two in Kenya right now?
In fact, if there is any other time that we worked very closely between government and private sector, this is the time. We consult constantly. We collaborate. We are on webinars. We are on different digital platforms to share experiences and to project what we can do better. Because this is the time to work together, to think together, and to move forward together. In terms of protocols, all the protocols that we have approved and gotten approval from the Ministry of Health of Kenya and WHO and World Tourism and Travel Council is because I formed a task force of the private sector of 17 member associations from different subsectors, asked them to give me what will be protocols with the principles of social distancing, of wearing a mask, of sanitization, yeah, all that, of hygiene, all that, well, that was the principle. And all the 17 subsectors presented their protocols. We went through different vetting system, and now we have health and safety for Magical Kenya already launched, and all the hotels and the tourism sector, now they are following those protocols, which slowly they are being implemented.
Okay. You hear people talking about the current situation with words like caution and concern and putting health first, which is completely understandable. But obviously, this is a time of reflection, or a time to reflect and possibly to look forward. And words like innovation, change, and entrepreneurship should also be part of the current climate. So to what extent do you see this as an opportunity? Not to say that whatever Kenya or other countries were doing was not optimal, but what are you and the private sector doing together to look at how things, when we come out of this, are not just back to where they were, but actually further optimized?
Well, I think all of us, government and private sector, have realized that there will be a new normal. We cannot live in the past. We can't live in our comfort zone as before. And some of us probably thought tourism is by default, not by design. We took things for granted. So this was the time where we all started reflecting. We did the rethinking, the evaluation of what were we doing right, or is it going to continue the same way? And that's why several issues came up, including myself. I've realized, first of all, hygiene, health and safety is priority. The beauty about it, the tourism industry is already practicing hygiene, yeah, particularly the hotel industry and the restaurant industry, the eateries. Yeah, but this needs to be profiled highly, needs to be actually shared, and we need to make the protocols public, not only from the supplier part, but also from the client part. These are crucial. Then the issue of how do we take care of our own people, our staff? How do we train them? How do we take care of their health? How do we know how they live? So this became an important issue because it shows commitment and loyalty, and also actually boosting morale to our staff. The third thing is about tourism must now be felt by the local community. Because there were issues that probably tourism comes in and the local community do not benefit. Yeah, but yes, people have realized that tourism must benefit. It's not just about the macro economy, it must be the micro economy. That is what people realize. And then we are also very bad polluters of the environment as a tourism sector.
Yeah.
How do we take environment to be sensitive? If you want to go to the national parks, what do you do to take care of environment? The issue of climate change and the effects by the climate change to the tourism sector. So environmental sustainability should be core in the revival of the new normal in tourism. And finally, it's about technology. You have seen we are at home. We are now working through virtual conference. Yeah. How do we make sure this technology benefits everybody? And it's across the line. It's not a choice anymore to have internet. It's a right to have internet. It's not a choice to be IT compliant. It's a right, and without it, you're out of business. So these are the new normals that we need to look at them, and then expand and get the ball rolling.
We've got 3 or 4 minutes left. I want to broaden the topic to Pan-Africa. Some commentators have talked about the fact that domestic and regional travel will return first. One could argue that, let's say, air travel between countries in Africa has been not only expensive, but quite difficult. are there ways in which Kenya is working with other countries in terms of a joint response to this, in terms of hospitality, travel and tourism?
First of all, I think the continent has never taken advantage of tourism. We only receive 71 million tourists in Africa, and there's very minimum intra-Africa tourism. Why? Because the issue of connectivity, the issue of air cost, and the issue of security.
Yeah.
And then infrastructure, lack of infrastructure. So we need to think beyond COVID-19. And I made an article and I said, if we invest today, within or after 5 years, we will be ready and will not be only resilient for post-COVID, but will be resilient for any turbulences that comes in the continent of Africa, being travel advisory, being bombings, being all the challenges that Africa has faced before. Because we need infrastructure development. Because we don't have railway or road network connecting every country efficiently so that people can travel. Yeah. Then we need to address the issue of connectivity, air connectivity and airport connectivity. 27% of Africans' airports are certified. Why can't we get 90% of African airports to be certified? These are the things that we need to take over and make sure that we have certified airports, as well as how do we make sure that we have visa regimes that are friendly to Africans. Why do we give free visas and friendly visa regimes to other countries, but not to our neighbors next door? I think we have 1.2 billion people in Africa. And if we strategically put our investment right now, I think we'll be able to develop a 400 million people in the continent of Africa to travel within Africa. That is sufficient for us to be self-sufficient in terms of tourism without necessarily cutting off the international tourism to come into the continent of Africa.
Okay. Final question, we have 1 minute left. I'd like you to give me 3 adjectives to describe how you feel looking forward over the next 12 months. How do you feel about what you think might be ahead of us, what is ahead of us? Is that a more optimistic view? Is it a more cautious view? Give me 2 or 3 adjectives to describe how you feel about what's coming.
Well, the future is an opportunity where we can be able to do the right things. It's going to be a long journey, but definitely it's an opportunity. I can tell you for sure, the weak will collapse, the strong will proceed. So we need to be stronger. We need to have faith, and we need to be optimistic and positive. This is, for me, my fundamentals, that we have to be positive and objective, and we move forward.
Excellent. So opportunity, strength, faith, positivity. Thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed it. I'm sure everyone else has, and I'm about to go out and buy a bow tie. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister.
I thought we are in summer, but
it's freezing cold in Nairobi.
Cold in July in Nairobi. That's why I don't have a shirt like mine.
Well, I was going to suggest a poll. Who prefers your bow tie to my shirt? But I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. There's no competition there, Matt. What were you thinking?
Well, look, thank you so much, and Minister Balala as well. Many of you may know that over the decade that we have been hosting the Africa Hotel Investment Forum, Kenya has been the home of that for 2012, 2013, 2018, and we were due back in 2020 this October. And every single one of those efforts were supported and hosted by Minister Balala and the team, the Tourism Finance Corporation team as well. So it's sad that we won't be there, but I like the idea that we should remain positive and optimistic as we move forward to coming back to Kenya in the future.
Thank you, Matt, for inviting me here today, Africa Tomorrow. I think it's a very fundamental issues we need to work together. One is to bring back investment in the hotel industry and revive the hotel industry. But the most important thing is the aviation sector. Without aviation, there is no tourism. That's why I will want to talk to John and see how best we can work together and get beyond just revival.
And so thank you again, gentlemen, for your time, and look forward to being back in Kenya as soon as we possibly can.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.